The gathered data can be analyzed by researchers and presented in articles, academic journal, or in a conference presentation. So even though it's a small amount on certain areas, it's still research that can be expanded. So even though it's new and we only documented 3 boroughs, as the research expands, it'll become more relevant into applying it to the area. So future researchers can use the scale created by the study in future work assessing the parenting of low-income African-American parents, because this research is more welcoming. The way that we conducted our research, it wasn't intrusive like a lot of researchers who came into Head Start centers and daycare centers, and they sat there for one day and they made all these conclusions and said a lot of negative things in their journals. So the nature of our research can inspire other researchers to go about it in a good way, to conduct good relations with these daycare centers so they can do more in-depth research. And community centers can develop workshops for family members to teach them new culturally relevant techniques to enhance their parenting and to encourage child learning in the home, because in order to give people advice, you have to understand their situation. So someone can't come into a community and give a parenting class if they don't understand the cultural aspects of that community. And this work is important because this work has important application because there's a lack of research in this area. There are many research projects that emphasize on either African American parenting or Caribbean, but they fail to show a correlation and differences between the two. This information can be used for family-oriented organizations to understand how cultural differences can be reflected in different parenting methods, because they are culturally different. Educational parenting workshops must be conducted in a style to complement their culture. So like I said again, you can't give advice. Parenting masters who come and they give parenting classes to certain parents, you can't really give advice to parents if you don't understand their culture. So my acknowledgments, I want to thank my mentors, Christy McLean and Jacqueline Mattis, the Pearls team, Melissa, Carolyn, Brooke, Ami, and Linny, Dr. Satt, Head Start Centers, and our participant, NYU Steinhardt School of Culture Education, Human Development, Department of Applied Psychology, staff members of HCS, and our audience. Thank you. Any questions? Any? Oh, you. Because, believe it or not, a lot of parents seek to buy these books about parenting, even though it might not mean that it's not necessary for you to buy a parenting book, of course, because there's some parents out there who need a little assistance in how to care for their children, because they might be first-time parents and they might not have a good advice system on how to raise children. So it's better for them to buy a book that's culturally relevant to their situations than to go and more than no one buy a parenting book that's based on white, middle-class parenting. So it's a better representation of their situation.